is good, but they might be able to tell that I'm just putting in random digits and numbers. No! Will you keep it down? I'm trying to write. Sorry, it's just this damn boss that keeps killing me. Oh, great to see you've become accustomed to my living room, as well as my Switch. I imagine soon it'll be the rest of my belongings. Hello everyone, I am Charlie Matthews, and welcome back to another video. Do you remember 2017? The year of the Nintendo Switch, Little Nightmares, but I think, most importantly to some gamers, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was first revealed at Nintendo's E3 2014 show, as a short trailer showcasing the iconic hero Link in a green landscape fleeing from a Guardian, one of the enemies in the game, on a horse. Link eventually manages to take down the Guardian though, using a bow and some sort of technological arrow. Now, I've only played Breath of the Wild around once or twice, so I don't really think I know enough for this video. So I called a friend. Now, Harry still doesn't know anything about lore.
But I know a lot about Zelda.
This makes him the perfect candidate to help me on my journey to truly distinguish Breath of the Wild from other typical open world games, and really identify what made everyone fall in love with it back in the day.
You can see in this first shot, it shows the landscape as it was seen from what we can assume is an older version of the Great Plateau. You can see how a lot of the landscape had changed through its 3-year production cycle.
Needless to say, fans were very excited about this next step in the Zelda franchise, with a completely new art style and seemingly open-ended gameplay. And better yet, the game was scheduled to be coming out next year, 2015. The game then proceeded to get delayed to 2016, and then 2017. Fans weren't completely left in the dark, however, as multiple trailers were shown throughout this period of time, showcasing the many things to be excited about, such as its new open world, and different ways to play featuring weapons, costumes, and environments. The game finally released on the Wii U, as well as a launch title for the Nintendo Switch on the 3rd of March 2017. The game was immediately loved by fans everywhere, for its new spin on the beloved Zelda franchise, even winning Game of the Year for the Game Awards 2017.
Game of the Year goes to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
This is Nintendo's first Game of the Year win at the Game Awards. Tonight, Breath of the Wild also won for Best Action Adventure Game and Best Game Direction.
The overall story of the franchise starts off in a game called Skyward Sword, where the antagonist, called Demise, the Demon King, is slain at the end of the game, but not before he says the words, "My hate never perishes. It is born anew in a cycle with no end. I will rise again." Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall forever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. This describes how the royal family's blood, Zelda, and the courage of the hero, Link, will be followed for all time by Demise's malice, Ganondorf. This would be the foreground for the rest of the timeline, which I won't get into because it's a mess. Anyway, back to the point of the video. The Breath of the Wild story starts off 10,000 years ago, where a great calamity is pictured on the tapestry found when speaking to certain NPCs. It depicts the rise of Ganondorf being fought off by hordes of machines made by a futuristic tribe known as the Sheikah. These machines are the 4 divine beasts and the Guardians. After the events depicted in the tapestry, the Sheikah were banished from Hyrule and the technology was buried across Hyrule. The memories, found when visiting specific locations in the game, depicts the discovery and research of the ancient Sheikah technology. The divine beasts were uncovered and piloted by the most talented warrior in the area, known as the Champions. It is also worth noting Link was a champion due to being Zelda's chosen knight, however he did not pilot a divine beast. However, the second part of the memories shows the downfall of Hyrule after the Calamity Ganon took over the divine beasts and the Guardians using his malice, which obliterated most people and structures throughout the game. The final memory depicts Link and Zelda outrunning a horde of Guardians. Link, barely even having the ability to stand, draws the Master Sword to try and defeat them. It is at this moment that Zelda finally uses her Triforce power for the first time, saving both of their lives. Link is passed out at this moment and is hurriedly transported to the Shrine of Resurrection, where he resides for the next 100 years until the start of the game.
Right from the beginning moments of the game and this beautiful view once you exit the Shrine of Resurrection, you are immediately introduced to the basic mechanics and controls of the game. Other than the control sticks to look and move around, as well as the jump button, attack button, etc., Breath of the Wild is the first Zelda game in the franchise to introduce mountain climbing. In previous Zelda games, Link could only do your typical gaming climbing, like traversing up ladders, and in some cases, vines. However, Breath of the Wild takes it to a new level by introducing mountain and rock climbing, as well as other objects. You're not invincible while doing this though, as you have a stamina meter that when depleted, drops Link all the way to the beginning of his climb, sometimes even killing him in the process. You can upgrade it later in the game though, which can be useful considering that this new form of climbing is basically what you will be doing for most of the game to get to new areas and objectives. Stamina is also used for sprinting and gliding from high areas. Obviously though, by simply waiting, Link can recover his stamina. The way Link is able to heal in Breath of the Wild is eating food such as apples and fish. In the game, you can find cooking pots to make cooked meals out of already found food. Cooking most of them can help you regain and gain more hearts temporarily, as well as regaining stamina quicker and having a temporary extra stamina wheel. In addition to this, certain ingredients can give you more upgrades like temporary speed and elemental endurance in harsh environments. In combat, there are various weapons, shields, and bow and arrows that you can find to fight off enemies. Just like your stamina though, these are not invincible and can break quite easily depending on its power. There are a variety of unique foes for Link to face in Hyrule. A few examples of this are electrified enemies, chameleons who blend into the environment, and the standard enemy from the very start of the game, bokoblins, who hide out in certain areas like caves and in watchtowers, some stronger than others. The main objective of Breath of the Wild is for Zelda to defeat Ganon using the 4 divine beasts, although you don't have to awake them at all from the start. It can be useful, as it depletes the final boss's health by half, and gives you abilities like being able to deal electrical damage to enemies, have a shield that takes hits for you, be instantly revived with extra hearts to give you a fighting chance upon death, and be able to use gusts of wind to boost you up while exploring. Breath of the Wild is the first Zelda game in the franchise to have a fully open world Hyrule, including different locations such as villages, ruins, and stables to explore and relax in. These divine beasts can be found in 4 sorts of biomes around Hyrule, including a rainy, creek-like area inhabited by the Zora, a village right next to a volcano inhabited by beings known as Gorons, one high mountain inhabited by humanoid birds, and a desert including a village inhabited by women. Literally just women. Very strong, buff women. Femboy All of these biomes can cause challenges for our hero too, like rain on mountains that causes Link to slip literally all the time and makes climbing not worth it, therefore basically stunning your progress. setting Link on fire in really hot weather, therefore killing him in a short amount of time, and extremely cold weather which can, you guessed it, kill Link and stun progress without the right armor or equipment. This makes cooking certain foods and getting certain armor with rupees, the currency in the game, even more vital to traverse the vast open world of Hyrule, as it can help with enduring the different types of biomes and their weather conditions. Going away from the gameplay though, man, the visuals of Hyrule are stunning, especially for the Nintendo Switch. Whether it's the greenery of Hyrule Field, the relaxing mist of your first visit to Korok Forest, or the mesmerising pitter-patter of rain in Zora's Domain, as well as the varied looks of other biomes, the visuals always keep a consistent, amazing look, which adds a lot more life to the open world for me, and honestly, makes it all the more fun to explore and just see what other beautiful location you'll find when either looking for shrines, collectibles, or if you're just simply wanting to stroll through Hyrule's luscious scenery before going back into another extreme battle. Even though these are all great accomplishments, as well as the fact that the Switch can even run it and still make it look beautiful thanks to honestly just masterful optimization from the development team, a lot of open world games are able to accomplish this. All you really need is good art direction, graphics, and varied locations around your open world. As long as it's done right, shabam, there's your amazing and compelling open world. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's exactly easy. Being able to accomplish this is bound to take a lot of creativity and a lot of developers to make it look right, but it's definitely something that not only Zelda can do, and has done in the past. One thing that I think Zelda has done that truly distinguishes its open world from other ones is the full exploration freedom and surprisingly massive amount of Hyrule that you can explore from the very beginning. Let me explain. Let's go back to the original reveal for Breath of the Wild at E3 2014 with Eiji Aonuma, where when he first revealed the environment, he said,
"It's quite a vast world, isn't it? You can even reach those mountains in the distance if you walk far enough."
This quote right here perfectly encapsulates the main appeal of Breath of the Wild in contrast to other open world games. Right after the Great Plateau, the entirety of Hyrule is free for you to explore, and I mean the entirety. None of it is structured, and you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want to go, and make your own discoveries. I mean, yeah, some specific armor or items may be needed for certain parts of the map, but it never feels planned and more like it's just another part of the journey. You truly feel like you're making your own story, rather than just following a narrative that was clearly planned from the beginning. Once you get to the grips with the basic mechanics, exploring the world is honestly a blast, and the attention to detail in what you can do and the different ways you can play does not only make the world of Hyrule feel lively and like it could actually exist, it also makes you feel like you are a hero who is on a mission to save the world from complete peril. As Shigeru Miyamoto stated, "For myself personally, I prefer the latter, where the player creates their own story, so I don't think there needs to be such an in-depth narrative."
I personally love how the map is laid out with the 4 divine beasts spread out in the general corners of the map, evenly spaced out from the start of the game to give a linear playthrough while giving you freedom to progress the game in any way you see fit. However, if you do not follow the order of Ruta, Meadow, Rudania, and then Naboris, I will have to execute you in the most excruciatingly painful way. I love the way the game blocks you off from reaching certain areas before you're supposed to, like for example needing the Fireproof Elixir from the Foothill Stable before heading up Death Mountain safely.
Other than being a virgin, there is a lot to do in this game.
In Breath of the Wild, there are many smaller objectives to complete in order to achieve the 100% completion status.
In the game, there are these dirty little miscreants called Koroks, who when you find them, they will put what I assume is fecal matter in your hand, and can you guess what happens when you get all 999 of them? This rando named Hestu comes and takes a giant dump he must have been holding back since Pangaea was still around, and gifts it to you as if it's the Holy Grail.
The shrines were another thing I enjoyed doing while 100%ing the game. It provided a good amount of content without making it seem repetitive, especially due to the fact that every shrine had its own unique puzzle, each with loads of different solutions and rewards. Many of the shrines, called Tests of Strength, have their own version of Guardians that have exclusive weapons that take quite the fight, even for someone like me to be able to defeat them. The shrines are the main way you upgrade your character during the game. At the end of each shrine there is a monk who holds its spirit in an orb, and gifts it to Link, after interacting with it. It is also worth noting this fully heals Link in the process. These orbs can be exchanged at goddess statues scattered across the map. 4 spirit orbs can be exchanged for 1 heart container or 1/5 of a stamina wheel.
The Master Sword is a weapon that appears in almost all of the Zelda games other than a select few. Breath of the Wild is not an exception to this. It can be found in the centre of the Korok Forest. After you have 13 hearts, you can pull the Master Sword from the pedestal. It's actually the only weapon in the game that can't break, or rather, it regenerates so you can use it again. This does take 10 minutes though, so don't go cutting down trees with it.
I love how in this game there are so many enemies you can defeat, some of them small like the red Bokoblin, and some stronger like the silver Lynel. Notice how I named colours on these enemies. These colours indicate the strength of the enemies. For example, there are a few different kinds of Bokoblins in the game. The red, blue, black and silver. These enemies will upgrade as you do throughout the game. This is also true for all other mobs such as the Moblin, Lizalfos and Lynels. Now, these aren't even all the different kinds of enemies in the game. There are the Hinox, Stal enemies, Talus bosses, all 4 types of Guardians, the Scouts, Skywatchers, Turrets and Sentries. There are even multiple forms of Ganon himself. There are 4 in each Divine Beast, Wind Blight, Water Blight, Fire Blight and Thunder Blight, Ganon, as well as Calamity Ganon and Malice Incarnate Ganon. I am also a big fan of the way you can repel Guardian attacks using your shield to defeat them in only a few blows.
Hey, Harry, I thought you liked LEGO Dimensions.
I do, I love the little figures, and guess what?
Don't tell me.
This game also has little figures.
Oh, the second video in a row with stupid but kinda cool figures.
Yeah, except this time they're called amiibos. They are little figures with NFC chips in the base, transmit signal into the game, and they give you specific rewards. Like these 4, these are the champions. They give you, they are Rabosa, Revali, Daruk and Mipha. They give you helmets in the style of the Divine Beasts, and they give you elemental upgrades to help you during the fight as a Divine Beast. We have the Wolflink amiibo, which is technically a Twilight Princess amiibo, but it has a really cool function when scanned into Breath of the Wild. It gives you a wolf to fight alongside you during the game until it either dies or despawns from teleporting away from it. We have the Link Rider amiibo, which gives you Epona, which is the horse he's riding on. We have these 2, which are which don't give you any specific rewards, but this one, in my opinion, is the coolest because it's a Guardian, for God's sake, and you can reposition the little tiny legs. So, like, if you go like that, it repositions it. Put it back. Very cool.
Oh. Well, that makes it completely worth it. Harry forced me to talk here so it doesn't look like he's talking too much. So, skadoosh.
Thanks for outing me, bro.
No problem.
I love how this game has so much customization compared to the earlier games.
Can you elaborate?
Hold on, I was just getting to that. Anyways, in the earlier games, I'll use Link's Awakening for example, you have 1 outfit for most of the game, and if there is an option for another one, it's usually 1 or 2. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, you probably have 100 different outfits to choose from, plus the ones from exclusive to the DLC and amiibos. And on top of that, you have the ability to dye outfits to let you add your own little bit of style into your outfit. I feel like after playing hundreds of hours into the game, plus having played and read into the older games, I am qualified to say that this game was revolutionary for its time. I remember playing the game for the first time and thinking, oh wow, that's a cool volcano, it's a shame I can't go there. Little did I know. I loved the way the game introduced the player to the environment and mechanics of the game. The Great Plateau is ironically a great tutorial in my personal opinion, and I would rate this game a 9.5 out of 10, and that's on a bad day.
Breath of the Wild is, at least for me, probably one of the best open world games I've ever played, even though I've only really played the main campaign. Ignoring the side stuff, in my opinion, the game gives you enough exploration and content by just doing the main objectives and beating Ganon. Adding that with a ton of side quests, customization options and collectibles, among other things, Breath of the Wild is one of the most content-packed, enjoyable, and engaging open-world games for me, as well as one, if not the only game I've played, that is worth the £60 price tag. With all the things you can do, all varied and never really that boring, in contrast to some other open world AAA games that usually have very repetitive side quests, or no side quests at all, but a main campaign that's honestly way too bloated and clearly full of padding, and an open world that is way too structured for its own good and doesn't even feel that explorable. The games overall may still be good, whether for its narrative, gameplay, etc., but are definitely not worth the price tag for the amount of content they have on offer, with maybe only a few actually unique side quests, a surprisingly restricted open world, and not much reward for exploration apart from going to the main objective, whereas Breath of the Wild heightens the bar for open world games, in my opinion.
Yes!
Oh my god.
I beat the boss!
Oh, great. Meh, he'll wake up in a few hours.
I'll go now.
Ah!